My brain has spiraled since we discussed, technically yesterday, the oncoming changes to the gifting event, which Kabam gave us an early heads up. But for those of you who have been grinding your alt accounts nonstop for the first 8 months of this year, you probably still feel like it's a little late. Now, there have been some really interesting discussions already in the comments of this broadcast that I'm recording this on about how it could really be healthy for the game, because Kabam did point out in that post that part of the reason why they're changing gifting is to take away scammers that especially prey on, I feel like, kids, where they'll offer a greater gifting crystal and then ghost them. And you might say to yourself, how many kids actually play this game? A lot more than you'd think. And even if you're defining a kid as like a 12, 13-year-old, that could still be a great place for a scammer to take advantage of them. It's also worth noting that I was beyond shocked. How accurate do you think it is that Kabam feels they lost over $8 million in greater gifting crystals from third-party sales last year? I will say this. It was amazing to me that Kabam, like, all of a sudden started complaining about that when I had seen those promotions every December for like 4, at least, maybe 5 years, and they never responded to it. Very strange. Very strange indeed. So, with that being said, we are just coming off of the first round of the Quicksilver featured arena. Now, to be clear, I don't think that the Quicksilver arena is suddenly going to go lower because they've announced the change in gifting. But I do think that this is going to impact other arenas that aren't the featured 6-star champion that everybody wants. For example, recently we have had the Squirrel Girl featured 6-star arena. We've had Silver Surfer, OG Thor, Loki, Korg, Mordo, Doctor Strange, Doc Ock, just to name a few. Well, now, what is the motivation for those bots who are counting on using those increases in units, maybe 100,000 plus units as we've seen in the past, to gift people and make money the third-party way through PayPal or whatever for crystals? What is their purpose for botting units? And maybe they do have another purpose for it, and I just can't tell it. But unless they're going to like try to sell the account, which seems like a really bad idea, this could be the change that so many of us, including myself, have been waiting for, because we've got to remember that if they're really committed to getting rid of cheating, as my man Ryan Veda just commented, they got to start in the arena. And they haven't proven that that's the case. We discussed on my channel on Monday how when you go especially to the top 200 in this Quicksilver, and look, all these accounts right now, except for this Last Dance, and also whenever people have special characters where you can't search them, I always think, is there something going on there? Maybe. But you go all the way down toward the bottom 200, and you can see that there are some profiles of people who don't have a single rank 3 6-star at the top of their profile. Or how about a top 5-star? By the way, LKMCC says, I don't believe it will help bots and cheaters. What I got from the notice is they have no resolve to hackers and cheaters, which is why the gifting event is now gone. So, that might be an interesting title to this video, inspired by LKMCOC. Has Kabam waved the white flag on cheaters, and because they always seem to be one step ahead of Kabam, they'd rather take something away? Now, of course, they're going to replace it with something. It's not like they haven't given us a promised alternative to the greater gifting crystal, which I still think progression-based, I know uncollected players would give me heat for this, should be Cavalier and above this year. Should be Cavalier and above. I think that's really good motivation. But if it is progression based, they should announce that change now to give people the ultimate motivation to push for at least Cavalier before the beginning of December. That should not be a one-way street in terms of communication. So, G's49 says they never could stop them and the cheaters will find a way to do it again. Well, the question is, how are they going to do it if they can't gift accounts going forward? How are they going to unload those units unless they just beef up this account and then say, hey, who wants to get this account that's got all these great crystals in it to open? I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. But Kabam really did think that $8 million was what they lost in crystal sales if you average $10 per crystal. So, is Kabam waving the white flag on cheaters? I don't know. You'll have to tell me in the comments of this video. Otherwise, shout out to Eric Nelson, Bobby Arduous, K-Man OG, Danger Darren, and Kick Rocks for being in the honored assembly. Stay tuned for some crystals. Good night, everybody.